You've come to the right place if you're looking to create, launch, and scale a high-value online training program. I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I'm the co-founder of LifterLMS, the most powerful learning management system for WordPress. Stay to the end. I've got something special for you. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMScast. I'm joined by my good friend and colleague, Dale Berkebile. He's from Hellagood Life. Dale, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I've seen you around the LifterLMS community for some years now, and we've become friends and connected. And I'm really excited to share more of your journey with the course building community and with the WordPress professionals and the marketing professionals that support that community. And you're kind of a mix of all three of those people. So I think your story will be particularly interesting. We're going to do something really special at the end of this episode. So if you're listening to this in your earbuds or you're watching on YouTube, be sure to stay to the end. In marketing, we call that an open loop. So you're just going to have to hang on for that. Dale, what would you say? One of the things you've helped me with a lot is thinking about my why. What is your why for like life and business?
Okay. My purpose in life is to challenge people to become innovative leaders so that we can change the world together. And, that is one of those things that is a personal thing as well as a business thing. So if you know me personally, I'm challenging, I'm challenging you to step up and change the world. If you're in business, that's something that it's always good to be a leader and step up. And that's something we'll talk about at the end as well. I'm all about trying to make impact, trying to change the world. And so I'm looking for people to help me. And so I challenge you to, to step up and become that innovative leader so we can work together on making some good stuff happen.
And your story, you're open about just like how life happens and tell us a little bit about your story in terms of challenges and struggle and also your journey into this idea of course creation.
Right. Okay. So in April, it'll be 22 years that I've been in business. And and so I've had an interesting journey in the marketing, sales training space. And one of the things that was interesting was I was always looking for a way to grow a business. And so hiring people and bringing people on to help me scale and do these different things so I could get bigger clients once I was really good at sales was kind of a challenge. So I kind of struggled with bringing people on or keeping them on. And, so when an employee left and I sell a big project to a client, guess who gets stuck doing the work? This guy.
Yeah.
And, and that was okay for a while because I'm really great at what I do. And I think it's a lot of fun. However, scalability was not there. I was struggling with that piece. So then I moved into, I had a couple partners that I was sort of working with and, and someone was like, what we should do for some lead gen is we should try and, or for the training is just kind of like, instead of just doing coaching, create a course that we can kind of train people on. And so I worked with some people where we were doing that for a little bit. Working with partners that aren't in your business, but just kind of sort of aligned with your business can be challenging and seems great until you get into the thick of things. Then you're dealing with clients and, creating courses and all that kind of stuff. And everyone has different levels of quality and, branding and like all these different things. It can be a little challenging to do a group thing. And so after I kind of washed my hands of that mess, that was where I first got into trying courses. um, I created my own course, and that was 2013. And so what I did was I pre-sold the course, and it was a 90-day course, and I was scrambling to learn how I wanted to do it better than like my previous interactions with my partners. And so I was trying to teach myself how to learn to be an online educator. And then I was trying to write curriculum, which I had no idea how to do. And then I was designing everything. And then I was looking for an LMS to build it. And then I was, the whole 9 yards. I was doing everything. And, that was a course that I sold one. I was excited about that. That was a $3,000 course. So it was kind of a decent size sale. However, I was working like 60, 70 hours a week, and I was running
Supporting
myself
one student
for one student. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the goal was this was going to be my gold mine, man. I'm going to like, this is the thing that's going to allow me to scale. I'm going to be able to sell this, even though I just have one now, they're paying for it, but then the next ones, it's all going to be profit, all that kind of stuff. But
Because you'll record it. So you were kind of doing it raw the first time, and then you would have a product at the end, right?
Yeah. Well, I pre-recorded it, and but the thing was, it was kind of in the marketing space, and it was kind of talking about social media and different things like that. But once I got through it, after all the work that I'd done, I was like, oh my God, Facebook changed or LinkedIn changed or whoever. And I was like, damn, now I have to go back and re-record this content because things changed. And that was a really valuable lesson to next course I create. I want to create one that I don't have to continually, that's evergreen, that I don't have to continually go back and edit update the content all the time. If you're in the tech space and, dependent on other companies supplying your knowledge, whether it's, heck, it could be, if I was doing Lifter promotions, Lifter changes, Lifter evolves, any software or technology company kind of evolves. And that was a valuable lesson for me to say, I don't want to kill myself like I did for the first course and then have to keep going back and updating. So I kind of scrapped the course because I was struggling to resell it once it was done, and I was exhausted at the end. And, I'll tell my little, my little story here if you want. So I had an interesting thing, a life thing that happened. So I was dealing with that. My business was sort of in a downturn, and I was excited about this course. I thought this was going to be the way out. I had my son right around this time. So he was probably about 4 months old or something like that. First kid, and I'm older. So, so it was kind of like, okay, so how are we going to make ends meet? My business is kind of on the rocks right now. Now I have this kid that I got to try and, support. And anyhow, I live in Texas. And at this time, there was an ice storm. So in Texas, like, ice storms shut down the city. And I'm originally from the East Coast, from Pennsylvania, so I'm familiar with snow and ice and all that kind of stuff. But they don't have the tools to clean things up, and I don't have the tools to clean things up. And our whole driveway was a sheet of ice. It was like a half-inch thick or so. And we were cooped up. My mother-in-law was with us, and she was staying with us for 2 weeks, and then got stuck for another week because of the ice storm. I'm working from home, and I'm trying to record things, and she's banging and making noise, and I'm like, I'm going crazy. I have a new life. All this stuff is driving me crazy. So I'm like, you know what? We're going out, and I'm going to get my car out. We're going to go get some food. I'm going to bring it back, but I needed some space to breathe because I was working myself to death. And I don't have any tools. I don't have a shovel. I don't have nothing like that. That's like winter gear, because in Texas, you don't need any of that stuff. So I grab a sledgehammer and I start going out into my driveway, and I'm like busting up the ice. And it took 2 hours, two and a half hours, something like that, to get a trail of, driveway that I could drive to get my car out. And the streets were kind of melting off. And so I was like, we'll be good when we get out in the streets. I just need to get the car out. Well, I turned the car on. I was warming it up and melting off the windshield and stuff like that. And my wife was going to go with me, but she went in the house for whatever reason. I got out and I'm like looking around. I'm like trying to wave to her to say, hey, let's go. And right then I hear wheels squealing and I'm just like, what the hell? And I turn around and there's a middle-aged black man in my car in the street. He pulled my car out, got into the street, but hit ice. And so that's the spinning that I heard. My window was down and I go running after this guy. And I'm just like trying to grab onto to the window. And I look the guy right in the eyes and I'm just like, he hit the dry spot and was out. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe this shit just happened to me. And so the interesting thing is, my life stress that I already had, and then this total traumatic experience happens. And I was totally pissed off, right? I was pissed off at myself because of letting the keys in the car. I was pissed off at the guy, right? I was super angry. And I was just like, man, how did this happen, right? Called the police. It took them about an hour and a half to get there. That pissed me off, right? We went instant cop, showing up to save the day. Then they grilled me and kind of treated me like it was insurance fraud, like I did it on purpose. Now, if you've ever been in a traumatic experience, I mean, I was already shaking. My hands are shaking. I'm just furious. I was an angry man. And, at that point, I'm just like livid with these cops. Anyhow, long story short, this pushed me into 2 years of depression. And for 6 months, I was an angry man, just an angry man. I was like, pissed off at this guy, pissed off. Why does this happen to me? You go down this downward spiral kind of thing of negativity and all this garbage. Anyhow, so I realized I needed help. I struggled getting any sort of medical help or anything like that. And so I happened on a meditation. And so I did meditation. I did like Headspace for 7 days, and, meditate every day for 7 days. And then it turned into a 30-day challenge or something like that. And then it's been me meditating pretty much every day for the last, 7, 8 years. And so I got into meditation to get over things. And anyhow, I moved from saying, why me, to what is it that caused this guy to make this guy think that it was okay? What kind of situation does this guy have to be in to do this? Right. And so I go down this path, this rabbit hole of just like, oh man, this guy probably didn't have a decent job. He's out walking in the cold, so he probably doesn't have a car. He maybe doesn't have positive role models. I go down all this stuff and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I think I need to try and help the people in our community not be someone that steals cars. Is kind of what it came down to. So anyhow, long story short, I now teach meditation as one of the things that I do to try and help people, because it really helped me get out of my dark, deep place. But I've done a lot of other things that are kind of tied to it changed me for the better. It was a good thing. Now, I mean, it's horrible to talk about. It's horrible to think back. But now I do that's part of the reason that I do the courses that I do now, and just who I've become. There's this whole theory of post-traumatic growth. So instead of post-traumatic stress syndrome, like you would hear in the
Combat.
military and things like
Yeah.
that, right? So post-traumatic growth is uh, when you have a traumatic experience and you turn it into a positive outcome and then you do something good with it. I do a lot of volunteering in the neighborhood, helping kids learn to read and different things like that. And it's all really based on trying to level up our neighborhood and fight crime. So anyhow, that's kind of an interesting little side note, I guess, on my journey in the course creation space and how why I do the courses that I do now. And we can talk about that in a minute or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for sharing your story. And I love that idea of trauma, going in an upward spiral of growth. Not that, I mean, sometimes we end up in a downward spiral and that happens, but using it and going the other way is really awesome. What, if somebody were to go to hellagood.life, what's the course, your most recent course about there?
Okay, so I have a mindfulness based course that's called Self Care. That is kind of my big push now that I finished off last year, but it's introducing people to mindfulness. And so some people know about meditation and some people use apps like I did, and all that stuff is good. But what I found is, boy, it's a heck of a lot easier if you know someone that knows something about this stuff. And so I also offer, mindfulness coaching as well to make sure you're doing the meditations right and uh, just to dig into the deeper, more psychological side of things, I guess, than just sitting and meditating. Which sitting and meditating isn't necessarily a bad thing, but um, yeah,
What is
sometimes there's
mindfulness?
so really, at the end of the day, mindfulness is about awareness. It's being aware in the present moment in a non-judgmental way. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of the quick,
And
the
what are
quick
the
answer.
benefits of being in that state?
Oh man, so the funny thing is, there's so many things that we run into in life. So stress, anger, depression, anxiety. The funny thing is, it's sort of like a cure-all for everything, which is horrible to say because then everyone gets skeptical, like, "Oh my God, yeah, okay, you're just trying to sell everything," right? But it is something that can help a lot of people in a lot of different areas. The things that have been wonderful for me is obviously I've been able to get through a horrible experience like that and turn it into a positive. That's something I don't know if I would have been able to do myself.
So, and
Um,
that's like getting through anger and depression.
well, that was, yeah. So it
Yeah.
was depression and anger. Those are some of the big things
Yeah.
for sure.
Um, what gave you the confidence to, not only help yourself with mindfulness, but overcome the imposter syndrome of who am I to teach this stuff?
Well, that's a funny thing for course creators in general, I think, because I had that struggle in the other courses that I was doing too. It's like, I mean, today courses, online courses, and things like that are really popular compared to 2013 when I did my first one by myself, 100% by myself. It wasn't quite as popular as it is now. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I still, I didn't know how to teach. I know my stuff inside and out, whatever I was going to teach, right? But I didn't know how to create curriculum. I didn't know how to sell a course. I didn't know how to deliver a course so that clients can get results. Because my big thing for my previous business was getting results for clients. And I'm like, okay, so how the hell do I do that in a course? Have my students go through the course and actually have results. And I think I would bet all course creators, before they have a couple students go through the course, have a little bit of imposter syndrome where they're like, shit, is this going to work? I mean, I know my stuff, but Yeah. Am I going to be able to deliver this so that they can get results? Um, and so, so part of it is just dealing with that. And I mean, you got to take it head on and push on through. So if you stay there, I mean, it's similar to the trauma thing. If you stay there, you never launch, right? You just kind of keep going back and forth. I think that's another problem with course creators. Sometimes we want to be perfect. And so we want to make the course perfect. So we do all these things to do that. And so it's just like we keep spinning our wheels, spinning our wheels, spinning our wheels, and never launch because we're like, oh, just one more thing. Oh, this is going to be the thing. Yeah. So imposter syndrome is kind of it's pretty legit. It's real. And I don't know for sure, but I would say everyone probably has it. And I've dealt with it myself for sure.
Awesome. What attracted you to WordPress, but more specifically Lifter LMS, and what keeps you invested in that tool?
Okay. So when I first, so here's the thing. I'm one of those guys that believes that you got to spend money to make money. And I wanted to be perfect the first course out of the gate. So I went with like an expensive sort of LMS that was probably for like industrial strength, superstar online course creators,
Yeah.
because I wanted to be a superstar online course creator. So I was spending a lot of money every single month. And it was cool. And it had lots of bells and whistles and all those kinds of things, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, so on top of everything, I had to learn all these different things. After that, I started getting trained in courses and different things like that. And so then I tried like programs that were affiliated or pushed by educators that I was being trained under and things like that. And again, I started getting into things where I was just burning cash. And I mean, yeah. So I got tired of doing
You got tired
I
of
got
burning
tired of
cash?
doing that. So I was looking for another way. And, and I knew I had a course that I was kind of working on. And so I was in this place where it was burning cash every month as I was trying to build because it was taking too long and it was a monthly kind of program. And I was like, I got to find another way. I can't afford this until I have clients. Or until I pre-sell it or whatever. I had to do something. So I just dropped out of some of the stuff that I was using and started looking around, and I think I probably did some Google searches or, whatever. And then I think I probably watched a podcast of Chris talking to someone else, and they were talking about, course creators, how to create a course and this and that. And it was like, the thing that I loved about it was this was a long time ago. And so it was like kind of low budget, it was like just a couple buddies talking, bullshitting about, course creation. And so I kind of resonated with it. And the thing was, I could tell you knew your stuff. And so I was like, oh, I got to check out this Chris guy. What's he up to? I mean, he was giving some good advice. And so that was part of it. And then, I dug around, done some research or whatever. And then I was like, oh man, I can create my own course on WordPress. All right. That sounds like kind of good, and I think, one of the things that you try to do is create a really solid, you joke about the Frankenstein sometimes, all these different pieces of software and plugins and all that kind of garbage.
Yeah.
And I think you were trying to minimize that, which at the time was appealing because I was also burning cash on like 8 different things, trying to build my course and whatever. I'm like, oh God, we got to try this. And
I heard somebody else describe that as death by 1,000 cuts. Like all these like monthly subscriptions and like this tool, that tool, like it's a lot. I know what you mean. And I'm
right.
sure the audience you out there listening, smash the like button or do something if you have spent too much money in your course creation journey on stuff that was you didn't need or was too didn't work together.
Yeah, yeah. The things that didn't work together and all the research, the wasted time researching all this garbage and stuff like that. I mean, it can be a real beatdown.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, before we move on, what do you love most about Lifter?
Oh man. Honestly, I think the thing that I love most is well, there's a lot to say, but really I think early on, because because I was moving into a new industry, I like that the fact that you have the free course, and then I could add on like the payment gateway, and
So you
then
ease into it.
what's that? Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I could just like get started at a pretty low cost. That was pretty cool because I think if you are new to this space, there's a lot of learning that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing that I upgraded after a little while was I bought your office hours by itself because I wanted help. I was struggling and I needed to talk to people. And so your office hours was awesome, man. I got in there, started talking to you guys, sharing. Look, this is what I'm struggling with, guys. What do I got to do? Right. And
Yeah.
everyone jumps in and pitches in and gives you ideas and advice and stuff like that. And so I really thrive in that kind of space. And so it was a little bit different than the high dollar things and all the other things that I was doing. I had no personal contact at all with the company. I guess I could do tickets or all that kind of stuff for tech support. But I like the personal connection. First, you're always doing stuff. You're out in front, and then second, there's a community there that I could talk to, both on Facebook as well as in your office hours.
That's cool. Um, since you're here and you're a sales and marketing pro yourself, if somebody out there is an expert in something like many I know a lot of meditation and mindfulness people. Many of
Okay.
them do not have a sales background or marketing background, and um, but let's just pick any niche or whatever. If somebody has no sales or marketing experience, or they're a WordPress professional who's really into the tech, but not necessarily into marketing and sales, and they're trying to get more LMS clients or whatever. What what's your best piece of advice for somebody who's really looking to do a better job at marketing or selling or both?
Um, well, I think the first thing is like really dialing in who you're trying to sell to. The more specific you are with your target audience, the easier it is. Some of the mistakes I've made over the years was being too general. And I kind of joked about the whole mindfulness thing. It can serve everyone, so that's great, right? Everyone is a client.
Solves
Yeah. Well, the
everything. Yeah.
downside is you can't sell to everyone and you can't market to everyone because that costs billions of dollars. Most startups don't have billions to do that marketing. So the more niche that you can get, the more tightly focused you can be. I think that's really an important thing. And then the other thing that I think is really helpful is find something that you can commit to doing. Whatever it is, whether it's sales or whether it's marketing. I mean, you have to look at it as a consistent thing. So if you're doing it like every 3 months, you're going to have really limited results. So if it's sales, I mean, like a sales guy would just be prospecting every day, picking up the phone and pounding on it, or however they do their sales. If it's a marketer, then find some sort of medium that you can do where you're consistently doing something. Old school, I used to do like quarterly direct mail. Nowadays you can do you can do podcasts, or you can do blogs, or you can do, there's a whole lot of different kinds of things that you can do. Find something that you can commit to and just like make it a part of business.
I love that. Some solid tips. Well, you've got something special for the audience today that we should get into. Before we do, where should people go, or what kind of, where do you want people to go after they listen to what we're about to do next?
Okay, well, if you want to, you can check out Hellagood.life. Okay, that's the website. If you want to go to Hellagood.life/imposter, you can check that out, and we'll have some stuff there related to what we're talking about today. It's kind of a little bonus, but yeah, I think that's the easiest way to find this stuff. If you want to find me, you can look me up on LinkedIn or Facebook. I mean, I'm active on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm a little old, so I don't do all the cutting edge stuff, but go back to the core of LinkedIn and Facebook.
Nice. All right. Well, what's our what special treat do you have for the listener or viewer today? And let's do it.
All right. So, so I thought that maybe I would try meditation. So, the interesting thing is, I'm trying to help course creators also add mindfulness to their, to their toolkit because, we talked about a whole lot of things: stress and, patience and anxiety and imposter syndrome, and the whole list goes on and on and on. But I think when we say mindfulness or we say meditation, sometimes we don't fully grasp what that is. And, what we think is maybe you have to go, sit in a cross-legged position and you're like, just kind of like getting in this whole monk thing. That's not necessarily the case. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the media has kind of hyped things up a little bit for what we think meditation is. And what I have here is a meditation that I thought might be helpful for this community. So it's exploring yourself as a leader. And, with my why, I'm always trying to challenge people to step up to be innovative leaders. So here you go. Okay, so Chris, if you'll join me and everyone that's listening, we're just kind of going to go through this here. Exploring yourself as a leader. Let's begin by taking a moment to allow your body to settle into a comfortable position. You can close your eyes or keep them slightly open, allowing the spine to lift and the shoulders to soften. Today, we're going to explore leading with purpose. Regardless of your position, whether in an organization or a family, you're called to lead at some point. The best leaders have a sense of clarity and purpose, and how they engage with the world, and in how they lead others. They connect with people in a very human level. Begin by taking a full breath in and a long breath out. Letting your attention rest on the breath. Now I'm going to ask you a series of questions. But instead of thinking about the questions or coming up with responses, I want you to allow the questions to just sink in like pebbles being dropped in a still pond. And I want you to be sensitive to any ripples that you notice. As a leader, what is most important to you? What are you aiming to achieve as a leader? As I ask these questions, just noticing the thoughts, feelings, and images that come to mind. As you breathe in and as you breathe out. What are the values that guide you? What may be preventing you from living your values each day? Now continue breathing in and breathing out. Bringing attention to your body. Noticing if the mind is wandering, or if it's attaching any particular thoughts or feelings that arise. Now imagine yourself leading with purpose. What does that feel like? And now as we begin to reemerge from this reflection, notice how you feel in body and in mind. Finishing with a deep breath in and a long breath out. And with the bell, you can open your eyes. So there you go. And there's a little sample.
Awesome, Dale. Well, thank you for that. For those of you who watch that or listen to that, you can always, come back to this again. So thank you for your giving that to the listeners of LMScast, Dale. That's awesome. And I feel better, lighter, more clear, more relaxed. So thank you very much. That's Dale Berkebile, ladies and gentlemen. He's at Hellagood.life. He's got something special for you over at Hellagood.life/imposter. Any final words for the people, Dale?
Well, all I can say is, just like in this meditation, take some time and be patient. Just sit with things. It is our initial intention to just like go charging forward and want to kill it. But sometimes the most clarity comes from just taking some downtime and really leading with intention as opposed to just trying to attack things. So anyhow, take some time, do some meditation, and just get after it, man. There's a lot of opportunities out there in this world, and the pandemic has opened things up even more for us. So take advantage of that and make some impact.
That's Dale Berkebile, Hellagood.life. Thanks for coming on the show, Dale.
You bet, man. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of LMScast. Did you enjoy that episode? Tell your friends and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And I've got a gift for you over at LifterLMS.com/gift. Go to LifterLMS.com/gift. Keep learning, keep taking action, and I'll see you in the next episode.